Welcome to the deep dive. You send us sources, we work through them, and, well, together we pull out the key insights.
Exact.
Today, we're diving into one you sent us. It's an opinion piece. Came out on Ayrotv, October 10th, 2010.
Right, and it's looking back, marking the 10th anniversary of the death of General Yusuf Talan. He died October 18th, 2000.
So this article, it's a specific viewpoint, obviously, for you, the listener who sent it. It seems like a way to understand some of the, the really complicated history and politics of Somalia and Somaliland.
Precisely. Through the story of this one significant figure, General Talan. So our mission here is basically to understand who the article says he was, what it reports about his death, and the questions it implies are still hanging in the air. Based only on this piece, of course.
Okay, let's unpack this. The article kicks right off calling Yusuf Talan a hero general.
Strong start.
Yeah. And it says even 10 years after he died, so in 2010, people in the Adal and Salal regions were still actively commemorating him, laying green leaves, talking about building a monument.
That really shows something, doesn't it? That level of remembrance a decade on.
It really does. It suggests he meant a lot, especially to his community there. The article says he sought tirelessly to find solutions for the collapsed Somali nation. And then this phrase, martyred for the Somali nation.
Wow. Okay, so hero general, martyred. The framing is very clear. Someone who sacrificed for a cause, seen as incredibly valiant by the author and the community mentioned.
Definitely sets a strong narrative tone. But then it gets into the complexities, particularly his position within his own clan, the Gadabursi.
Ah, yes. This sounds key.
Apparently, the clan was really split. You had those supporting Somaliland independence and others wanting united Somalia.
A common tension in the region, that interplay between clan identity and sort of broader national ideas.
And Talan. The article says he opposed what it calls a single clan monopolizing Somaliland's leadership. It even notes this was still seen as an issue in 2010.
So his opposition wasn't just historical, according to the piece.
Right. And because of that, he leaned towards a united Somalia. The article connects this view to many wise elders in the Gadabursi clan who apparently felt left out of Somaliland's power-sharing setup.
So he wasn't alone in this view within the clan. It highlights that challenge. How do you build political consensus when clan dynamics are so powerful and people feel excluded?
But it wasn't everyone feeling that way, was it? The article contrasts those elders with a few young people with personal interests and also some elders who were just afraid of direct conflict.
Okay, so different motivations at play. Fear, personal gain, alongside maybe principled opposition. It's never simple.
No. And interestingly, it mentions a possible shift later on, where some traditional Samaroon leaders that's linked to Gadabursi started thinking peace needed, mutual respect between all communities.
That suggests an evolution, maybe? A realization that dominance wasn't sustainable. It paints a picture of quite fluid local politics, not just one big bloc against another.
Yeah. Exactly. Lots of internal maneuvering. Then, though, the article shifts quite dramatically to his death, his assassination.
Right. The specific date given is October 18th, 2000.
And the description is grim. He was forced to go with armed men, refused to comply with whatever they wanted, and was shot. In the head.
Just brutal.
And what the article immediately stresses is that this wasn't seen as an isolated incident. It claims there was this pattern of assassinations, influential people, religious scholars, intellectuals, others across Somalia, and crucially, no justice, no prosecutions.
That's a very serious claim. The lack of accountability is presented as a major issue, undermining any sense of law or stability.
You can really feel the author's frustration. They mention warlords, bandits, and those who sell the nation's wealth alongside this lack of justice. It's a very bleak picture of that time.
A sense of impunity, essentially. That powerful figures could be killed without consequence.
Which leads directly to the article's core allegations about who might be responsible.
Okay, this is where it gets really pointed.
It says, many believe, and some credible sources confirm, that Somaliland and Ethiopia actually collaborated on this, funded the assassination.
Whoa. Okay, that's a massive accusation. Collaboration between Somaliland and Ethiopia to kill Talan.
And it adds another layer claiming Ethiopia had previously warned Talan, told him not to cause instability in Somaliland.
So the article is drawing a direct line. Talan was seen as a threat by both Somaliland and Ethiopia. They warned him, and then, according to this source, they acted together.
It's presenting a motive and an alleged mechanism. Then it adds some backstory from the early 90s, after the Civil War.
Okay, context.
Talan and other military officers from his area, Borama, tried to go home, but they were kidnapped. And the person named in connection with this is General Aidid.
Aidid, a major figure in the conflict himself.
Right. And the article specifically links Aidid to both the SNM, the Somaliland National Movement, and Ethiopia.
Ah, the plot thickens.
Mhm.
So the alleged link isn't just for the assassination itself, but goes back earlier.
That's what the article suggests. It claims the motive back then was to stop these Gadabursi officers from organizing against the SNM. Talan was eventually let go, but apparently on condition he wouldn't oppose the SNM.
So he was already marked as a potential problem years earlier, according to this narrative, and released with a warning, essentially.
Yes. And despite that, the article says he later got involved in Somali politics again, knowing about these alleged Ethiopia-Somaliland ties.
Which would have been incredibly dangerous if these allegations hold any water.
The article seems to think so. It even mentions other alleged assassinations, this time in Mogadishu, targeting high-ranking former Somali military officers. And it links those to Ethiopian intelligence, saying the goal was to wipe out Somalia's old military elite.
So it's painting a picture of a systematic campaign, allegedly orchestrated or supported by Ethiopia, potentially with Somaliland's involvement in Talan's case, to eliminate figures associated with the old Somali state or potential alternative power centers.
That's the thrust of it. A really high-stakes, dangerous environment described in this piece.
Absolutely, a narrative of targeted elimination of perceived threats.
So to wrap up the article's main points, it concludes really firmly. It says Talan's assassination was a premeditated conspiracy.
No ambiguity there.
None. It states Somaliland cannot deny its role in planned killings in Somalia. And it ends with the author's conviction that, eventually, justice will be served.
A very strong, assertive conclusion based on the evidence and sources the author claims to have. It leaves the reader with a sense of unresolved grievance, but also a hope for future accountability.
So recapping our deep dive into this article you sent, we've seen General Talan remembered as this hero general, especially in Adal and Salal. We looked at his complex political stance caught in that Gadabursi clan split over Somaliland versus a united Somalia.
Right, and opposing that perceived single clan dominance in Somaliland.
Then we covered the really serious allegations about his assassination in 2000, the claims of Somaliland-Ethiopia collaboration, the lack of justice, and how this fits into a broader pattern described by the author.
It's a compelling narrative presented in this one source, but it's vital, as always, to stress this is just one source, an opinion piece from 2010.
Absolutely crucial point. This is one perspective on incredibly complex events. You'd need many more sources, different viewpoints to get a fuller picture.
Definitely, because the accusations here are incredibly serious and the history is deeply contested.
So, keeping that in mind, that this is one interpretation, it does leave you thinking. The article insists on unresolved justice. It highlights these deep historical wounds and complexities. What does that mean long-term for trying to find stability, trying to find reconciliation in the region, even now?
That's the lingering question, isn't it? When such serious events and accusations remain unresolved or contested, how does a region move forward? It's certainly something to reflect on.